Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another Young Indian, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Sakshi Thakur. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Sakshi.
So, first of all, sir, I would love to thank you for providing me this incredible opportunity. I remember seeing different professional being featured on this page, and today's being here it just makes this movement even more meaningful to me. And it's an honor to be a part of this platform. Before we dive deeper into the conversation, let me introduce myself. My name is Sakshi Thakur, and I am a student currently pursuing BA Economics Honours from Daulat Ram College, University of Delhi. Today, I would love to share my journey as a student, the journey that has been filled with valuable teachings and learning at every step. And each experience has played a very significant role in shaping me as a person. So, rewind to the time I was a little girl. I was a kid. Unlike every other kid, I had dreams. One day, I wanted to be a doctor, the other day, an engineer. Every day, I used to wake up with a career goal. And even I thought that I could be a superhero at times. But to my surprise, here I'm pursuing economics. It's funny how I look back and realize that uh, the dreams changes as we grow up, but somehow all those ambitions have led me to whom I am today. And speaking about adapting, the one thing that always I remember is that one of my teachers told me, I used to go to tuition classes, and in every student's life there is one teacher whom you always look up to. And for me, it was one of my teacher or tuition teachers actually. One day I told him, sir, I spent 1 hour in solving this question, and when I looked at the solution, I realized that this could have been done in 10 minutes or so. So he told me, if you're solving a question and it takes you an hour, that hour is not wasted. And I don't know about others, but I always used to think that if I can't solve it in 10 minutes, is it really worth my time? I always needed that instant gratification. But later on, I realized that it's not that, it's the time that we invest in something. It helps us understand it much more in a much more better way. There will be times when you feel like you need to just toss off your textbooks out of the window, but patience is always the key to me. And I realized that how wrong I was, and everything should be quick and instant, but it cannot be in a matter of minutes. Then comes demonetization. At that time, I was in maybe class 8th or ninth. I didn't know what that term meant. The only thing I knew was that 500 and 1000 rupees notes cannot be used. And I was worried. I used to think and sit and think, ki, how will my parents manage if their money goes away? How will they, will they pay my fees and everything? And who knew that later on I will be studying demonetization as a case study in economics. So life is काफी unpredictable. So then in the COVID period, we had the privilege to enjoy a new concept was introduced, that was online classes. And for me especially, I was not a fan of online classes. I didn't like looking at the screen for 6 hours straight, because the thing that you find in classrooms physically, the approach when you chit chat with your friends, have lunch together and everything, is something very different that cannot come through screens and everything. So for me, online classes were a big no. But in that COVID period, I had class 10th, so I had to give boards, and we were the first and last batch to have two boards in 1 year. And so one, we had objective type of paper, and the other one was subjective. So I thought that objective paper would be very easy. I only had to take MCQs and everything. But after giving the paper and looking at my results, after comparing the subjective paper and objective paper, I realized that objective paper is much different and harder as well, because there is a new approach to everything. You need to dive deeper into concepts and everything. Question can be asked at any level. There is no thing as step marking on anything. So that was a whole new experience, and I survived and managed to score good marks and made my parents proud. Then comes my class 11th, and it was the year I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. And unlike every other kid, I was in a dilemma to choose a subject. And choosing a subject felt like choosing an ice cream where we have hundreds of flavor. And I wanted to go for an option that I don't regret it later. So thankfully, I was blessed with amazing parents. They didn't force me to go into any particular direction. They just said that you figure it out, and that made my choice making even more difficult. Meanwhile, my friends were like going to engineering, they were having dummy schools, they were going to medical schools, and I was left wondering whether commerce will be the right choice for me or not. And little about my family background. I come from a place where education has always been valued. I wasn't pushed into being into a particular career path. When I had to choose between commerce, science, and humanities, it was all up to me. But it didn't stop some of my relatives asking, beta doctor ya engineer. And when I replied, I chose commerce, they nodded, they paused, and then another question came. Okay, chartered accountant, right? So it was a whole new experience, and I realized that how much our background shapes us. It made me realize that no matter what path you choose, there will be people questioning it, but in the end, your journey is yours to own. Then comes my class
Sakshi,
12.
Sakshi, 1 minute. Let
Yeah, yeah,
me speak on behalf of the older generation.
yeah.
It's a general point. They didn't have the choices that you have. Okay. India has
Yes.
changed. So they don't actually understand the changed India. When you say no, there are stereotypes from the old days. Okay. Doctor, yeah, engineer. Okay. If not, BCom, all right, fine. You will be chartered accountant. These are the old stereotypes.
Yeah.
And that's what's in their mind. They don't really know how India has changed.
Yes, sir.
And that the young people actually have choices, which was, if I think back to my time, there were no choices.
Yeah.
Really, I'll tell you a story. Okay. There's a fellow who's a doctor in the US. He's older than me. Okay. He wanted to be an engineer. I'm talking 1950s. Okay.
Okay, okay.
And his father wanted him to be a doctor because his father had wanted to be a doctor but couldn't make it. So this fellow, he enrolled in a college in those days. There were no IIT. There was one IIT. There were no NIT. So he just went to a local college and he took these engineering classes. Oh, science, basically, not biology, but without biology.
Yeah.
Okay. His father didn't like it. Anyway, they had a college trip somewhere. He went with the college. His father went to the college and told the principal that, what is this? My son is not doing medical courses, and this is not right. I think he should be a doctor. But the principal said, "Oh, fine, I'll change all his classes." And he came back. The principal said, "Sorry, your father came. How can you disobey your father? You are now enrolled in medical classes. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. So you become a doctor." So he's a doctor. Can you can you imagine those days today? No.
No.
But that's what life was like without choices. And I think in the last 15, 20 years, the choices have come in India. And I'm talking to the young generation, not just to you, that the older generation has no clue in their guts. Okay. They
Yeah.
may listen to you and they may try to figure it out, but they don't get it because it wasn't there in their time. And they don't have the time to see what life is like for young people today. So just keep that in mind that when you're talking to your parents and grandparents, they came from a very different India.
Okay.
Okay. Very, very different India. And most of them don't really know what is going on in today's India, how the choices are and how people choose and the freedom that they have to choose. So, I'm speaking on behalf of the older generation.
Yeah,
It's not like a criticism, it's just a fact of life. And there's one guy, he's actually from Pakistan, he's older than me. One day he asked me, Subodh, what is this midlife crisis? I said, sir, in your time, it was not there. There was no choice. You just did. What crisis? Your only crisis was if you lost your job, but nobody lost the job. You took a job, you stayed. So that I'm just saying that I want to just tell the younger generation that be grateful that your life has changed and you have options, and recognize that when the older people are asking these questions or making these comments, they don't really know what is your life. So you have to find a way to work it out in between. Okay. All right, good. So Sakshi, please continue.
yeah, I do agree with the fact that the choices have evolved in the last 15 to 20 years. So now moving on to my class 12th, it was a whole new experience, especially with boards in class 10th. We had two boards, so we didn't had the exact experience. So it was a whole different game. The stakes were higher, expectation was louder. I felt like the whole futures were riding on those exams. So at that time, I realized the importance of balanced approach to both teaching and learning. It was not only about memorizing facts and formulas. It was about understanding the concept and truly finding the way to grasp that material. Then the CUET chapter in my life comes in. CUET Common University Entrance Test. It is a new form of examination introduced 3 years back, where all the Central University of India participates, especially University of Delhi. So that with that comes in the delayed results. And by that time, my friends have started going to colleges, and I was still anxiously waiting for my results. I think felt like the world was moving ahead of me. I was stuck in the waiting game and not knowing what my next step would be. But I realized that waiting was just the part of the process. It taught me the patience. And in that meantime, I tried to research more about my subject, economics, because I had more of like why kind of question, why this, why that. So it just made me realize that teaching and learning are continuous, and sometimes the wait itself is the part of the lesson. And I finally results were announced and I got into college. In college life, I thought that there will be a cinematic entry for me, but there was no such thing. And even on the first day of my college, there was a heavy downpour. I woke up, I got into my new college outfit and looked out of the window. I saw that it was raining, not even drizzling. It was a heavy monsoon level of rainfall. But still, me and my father, it was the orientation day. We managed to get there on time, and despite the rain, we ended enjoying every bit of it. There was no grand hero moment, just me, my umbrella, and the start of new chapter in my life. And then I had to make friends, and it was a whole new experience to me because in school I had friend with whom I was sitting from class 1 to class 12. So making friends was a deal for me, and it was a comedy on its own. But the real twist was the society interviews. It was no less than job interviews. The most unexpected part of college was joining society. I thought it would be a simple sign up process, but it was a full blown hiring procedure
Yeah.
where we have to go through multiple round of interviews and everything, GD round, PI round. And but it was that experience was so surreal. It taught me a lot how to deal with different kind of question and prepared me for my future endeavors as well. And while making friends, there was a dynamic between hostelites and day scholars. The hostelites have their own automatic bond where they suffer together over the hostel food, their late night gossip sessions, and everything. But we, as a day scholar, we had our own set of challenges. Waking up on time for 8 a.m. lectures and traveling through the Delhi's legendary traffic, and asking the question, "कौन से metro से आ रहे हो?" Which metro are you coming from? And having that conversation. But we all think the only thing that we all had in common was we coming from a strict academic families where we had parents who thought that scoring below 95 was a crisis. But on the other hand, we had super chill parents who used to say, "Beta, fail bhi ho jao to koi nahi." There were people coming from different towns adjusting to the madness of Delhi. They traveled beyond their state and learned new languages and navigated through Delhi. And it was, for me, it was a task. Although I lived in Delhi, so I don't think it was thing for me, but I could see the task for my other friends. And let's not forget the endless hunt for good food near campuses, trying out all the famous spots and everything, having tea sessions and group assignment. And the thing that I realized, that the real friendship are not made in classroom. They are made when you share your mutual sufferings of group assignments and 8 a.m. lectures and everything.
Mm.
When I look at all those experiences, the rain, the food, the interviews, and everything, I realized that no matter how small or how chaotic these were, but they shaped me and my future. And it's funny how this is the way life works. And it's not about grand plans or smooth roads, it's about adapting, learning, and finding your way through. And few months later, 2 3 months later, I got my semester date sheet, and I realized that I signed up for economics honors as well. And I had to get back to studies. I had to navigate through maze of subject. Earlier I had one book for economics, now I had three, and all were economics, so I had to navigate. And to my rescue squad, it was YouTube and Google. They were the real saviors of my life. And from videos explaining theory in the ways textbooks never did, to articles that made things 10 times easier, I think that I learned a lot from Google than my lectures combined. So it was a perfect mix of traditional study and a whole lot of digital rescue. And I think that a few days back, I had the privilege of attending a seminar where one of the CEOs shared a very powerful insight, and that has stuck with me even till today. She asked us, how do you differentiate between dreams and goals?
Mm.
At first, I thought they are the same. Aren't they the same? Dreams and goals, they sound similar. And then she explained in a way that truly resonated with me. She said, dreams are something you do with no structure, no direct plans, or no structure. They are just aspiration or your desires, something you fuel your imagination with. But goals are the dreams with a plan in mind. And that really hit me hard. Dreams can be the spark, the idea that drives us. But without a plan, they are just dreams. They remain out of reach. Goals, on the other hand, are the stepping stone that takes us closer to the dreams, and they require a plan and structure. And I think after reflecting on my whole journey, it has been a perfect mix of failures, learnings, and growth, with each in right amount. And I think there had been moments of successes or moments of doubt, and I think all of them have played a very crucial role in shaping me who I am today. And one thing I would love to know from you, sir, is that have you ever faced those moments of self doubt during your journey, and if so, how do you deal with them and keep moving forward?
All of us have self-doubt.
Yeah.
All of us have. It's a natural thing because you aspire too high. You know, there's no point in aspiring to a low goal. That's not called aspiring, right? If you're aspiring high. And then obviously, since you're aiming so high, you may or may not get it, right? And so you have a failure. But I'll say that failure has not created a doubt in me. Okay, I'll be honest. I don't it's not that I do it, it's just that failure is just failure. Doesn't it hurt or impinge on my assessment of myself. It's just that I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Okay, this is not going to work for me, or this is wrong. This is not going to happen. But I honestly think that if you are confident of yourself, then you don't get much self-doubt. So I haven't really had much self-doubt, and just do it. That's what I think. Just do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? Just do it. So what's this self in it? It's just your misunderstanding of the ground realities. That's why it didn't work. Okay. It doesn't fit in the particular case that you are looking at. And it fails. Okay, fine, it fails. All right. But it doesn't reflect back on me. Let me put it this way. We don't get what we want. We send out 10 letters, we get 9 rejections, or maybe we get 10 rejections. Okay. But if you don't apply, you get all rejections anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, honestly, there has never been much self-doubt. It's partly, the family background and things like that to guide you and help you be sure of yourself. Okay. So I would say that I never let it. I mean, like everybody else, we have failures. And because we try too hard for many things. So I think that answers your question.
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue.
So, sir, we should consider that failures are a part of the whole journey.
No,
Just
not a
shape.
failure or part of the journey. It's a they happen because you try too high.
Yeah, we aspire too high.
You aspire too high. If you aspire low, you will not fail. Right? So it's actually a reflection of your own confidence that, look, maybe there is a chance for me here. Maybe it will work. Maybe I can do it. And it sometimes, not many times, it doesn't. So, okay, you made a mistake. It's a mistake. You didn't understand the situation. You're not right here. Or you didn't have the facts. You didn't understand the ground realities. Okay. And okay, fine. Do something else. Where what you do fits and works for you. So this has been how it has been for me. Okay, so I think that pretty much answers the question. Let's continue.
Sir, I would love to share an instance that
Yeah,
just
please.
happened today. I've participated in a case competition, and there were 3 rounds, and cleared the 3 rounds. And no, it was the last round, and I cleared the last 2 rounds. So I was pretty sure I was feeling on the top of the world, but unfortunately, I didn't make it to the finals. And I think it was one of those moments when I was sitting there and staring at the screen, like, what did just happen? For a moment, I felt disheartened, but I later on realized that it was about the journey, the learning, and the effort that me and my team had put in.
Yeah.
And it's worth more than the trophy that could have been. It taught me a lot, and I made sure that I don't repeat those mistakes in
Right.
future. And judges were so nice that they arranged a feedback meet for us, where they provided us insight and areas of improvements for further
Yeah.
competition.
Right.
And yeah, so it was an incredible experience.
Good.
I would love.
Okay, so let's continue.
And another moment I would love to share is that I think 1 month or 1 week later, 1 week, yeah, earlier 1 week, I got a call from IIT Kharagpur. It was a competition only. After clearing a few rounds, I got selected for the offline round, and I couldn't make it to the campus because from the traveling from Delhi to Kharagpur, that is in West Bengal, was something I didn't find feasible. So, and also the other circumstances didn't work well. So I couldn't make it there physically, but I learned a lot from that process. And it was one of those experience where you didn't reach the finish line, but the lessons you gathered on that way, that truly mattered.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much it from my side.
Okay, good. Well, let's see if you can give some advice to students in class 11 and 12. How you made your decisions, because many people are confused because you went against the trend. What did it take? I mean, I know your parents supported you, but then you had to think, I mean, when they give you freedom, then you have to have a way of making your own choice. If you don't have the freedom, you don't have to explain. But if you have the freedom, you have to explain. So how did you make this choice?
So the advice to class 11th and 12th student from my side would be just focus on just don't question your own abilities. Don't ever question your capabilities. And even if someone is questioning your capabilities, just make sure that you prove them that they are wrong. And that pretty much worked in my case. And I wanted to make sure that all the people who are questioning me and my abilities, I just had that perfect reply. But as I said, that there should be there should be a differentiation between dreams and goals. Make sure that you're not only dreaming, you have a goal with a proper plan and structure to it. And make sure that consistency is the key to anything. Be patient, like be hungry to learn
Yeah.
at every point, and don't be ever disheartened with your failures, and just take it
Yeah.
as a learning as a whole.
Yeah. Okay, very good. It's my usual custom to give the last word to the speaker. So here you are. Last word, please. Final comments.
So I think it was a privilege to attend this, be here on this platform, and I make sure that I will make me and my future self proud. Whenever I look back to this video, I will make sure that whatever I spoke, I had I should be aspired, I should have desire, and I think it gives me hope and just dream whatever I can and be the best version of myself.
Okay,
So
wonderful.
thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Sakshi. Stay on. Let's end the recording here. But I want to talk to you. Let's end it here. I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Till then, bye, everybody.